And we are live. Thanks everybody for joining us here at the Big Show. As always, I'm Big Will. Now, normally this is where I say, and with me as always is Jeffrey Comic Con Henson. But Jeff isn't here. He
We got
said
the
he
other
needed
Jeff.
to he said he needed to take a break, so it's just gonna be me today and our guest. The great thing about our guest is he's got the same name.
Yeah,
So I still get to say, hey
Jeff.
Jeff, say hello to everybody.
How you guys doing?
Okay, now the next part we normally do is we say hey to the chat, and I normally give that to Jeffrey because everybody knows how good he is at it. So I'm going to
Right.
give it a shot. Looks like we only got
That's
two people, so it ought to be pretty easy.
nice. For right now.
Yeah, we got Hialeah Comic Bro and Comics for All People #1.
How you guys
So,
doing?
yeah, and Antonio Zapeta is joining in. He said, let's get the party started. All right. Well, I suppose it makes the most logical sense to start off and ask you, hey, Unruly Simeon joined us to ask you, how did Cantonese Comic Wednesdays get started? Because that is the main thing that you were known for in the community. So how did you start that?
Well, I wanted to be different than everybody else. Everybody had a pull list. Everybody had what they're looking forward to, and then I'm like, well, I'm Cantonese and I can speak Cantonese, so that's how that came to be. So I'm like, might as well do something different and then be different than everybody else, and that's how Cantonese Comic Wednesdays came to be.
Okay. Now you said you are Cantonese and you speak it. Now I assume
Right.
then, does that mean it's your first language and English is your second, or did you have to learn Cantonese as a second language?
I well, Cantonese was my first because I was born and raised in Florida, but my mom and they spoke it in at the house, so pretty much that was the first language I ever pretty much learned.
Okay.
And then when I went to school, I pretty much learned English.
All right. So kind of both at the same time, then, really,
Yeah, pretty much.
somewhat. But Cantonese was first. Now,
Yeah,
what
Cantonese
kind
was
of
first.
response do you get?
Pretty decent response. So, like people are enjoying it. That's the main thing I wanted it to be. Like people enjoying it, people liking it, and enjoying what they're learning and stuff. So I always wanted to teach them, but I just didn't. I used to do it in middle school all the time. Like all the friends would ask me, you know, about what this meant or how to say this in Cantonese. And actually, a middle school friend actually brought it up in Facebook. He goes, "Oh, I'm on your YouTube channel. You should do what you used to do in middle school." And so he pretty much gave me the idea. Pretty much, that's how that came to be.
Okay. Now, how do you approach that? Do you go with? I haven't seen all your episodes, so do you use mainly basic words, or do you like to throw in some harder stuff? And of course,
I
I
use
imagine in middle school, everyone wanted to know how to cuss in Cantonese.
Right. Yeah, yeah. But I use pretty much. I try to do basic words or try to see if there's any words that what comic books or anything like that, like Batman or something to do with comics. Or sometimes it's a whatever word popped in my head. I'm like whatever. You know.
Okay. It looks like we had some more people jump in. We got Big Lion Cat and Just a Rican has joined us. Hey, Rod, BLC. Now,
Yeah. Rod has his own show in a little bit at like
yeah, he
4 o'clock.
does. So, give us an example. Let's do a word in Cantonese right now. Teach me something. What's an example?
Ne homa means how are you? Ne homa.
Nehoma?
Yeah, that's how are you.
Ma with a M or ba with a B?
No, Nehoma is with an M.
Nehoma.
Yeah, with an M.
Oh, okay. So that
Yeah,
means how are you?
yeah,
All right then.
yeah,
Sweet. I just learned something today.
yeah,
All right. So you normally do that on Wednesdays, and you also do your pickups, your new comic
yeah.
pickups, right?
Yep. Pick up on Wednesdays and Cantonese on Wednesdays too. So
All
I
right.
just combine them together pretty much.
Well, this week, did you pick up anything really good?
I mean, Batman Dam was really good. Amber Blake was really good. Actually, the Crow versus Hack Slash was pretty interesting. that was a pretty interesting book.
Looks like we got some more people jumping in here. Mr. Garrow, Tarek Farouk. I butchered that, I know.
Yeah.
And Deb Wade's asking, how do you say peace?
Peace. Let's see. Let's think. A piece. Well, there's a bunch of ways to say it, but I'm trying to think.
I assume it's depending on how you want it used.
Right. Because a lot of the times Cantonese is with tones. You can say it the wrong way. If you say it the wrong way, it could mean something completely different. It could mean something horrible at the same time. So
I have a feeling that is actually my mom, and I have a feeling she is wanting to know how to say peace, as in when you say peace, as in calm, rested. Shalom would be peace,
right.
if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, I'm trying to think. Peace. Calm. It's not easy. I don't know that much. Is it? Can't think of it on the fly, but
well, we'll go back to it later.
Yeah, we'll go back to that later. I can't.
Yeah. Let's see. We have Robert the Comic Book G-Spot Galvin in here, and Comics for All People wants to know, he says he needs one of them Marvel Comic Presents #6. Did you pick up one of those?
Marvel Presents #6.
Nope.
But we're going to. I'm going to be seeing Hialeah and 90MF and all them on like next weekend. So now at SuperCon. So.
Well, apparently Wolverine has a daughter now, and that's why
we'll probably go hunting then. So.
Yeah, and look. Yeah, she kind of is, but I guess they're wanting to. I don't know what they're doing. To be honest.
Well, he had a son, so I'm not surprised they're trying to get him more siblings.
Yeah.
Try to get him more kids. He's been around for forever, so.
Yeah, Hialeah says he's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned you picked up Batman Damned, and that was good. So why don't you tell me what you think? Since it's been a few days, everybody who was going to get it should have got it by now. 1 through 3, we had to wait so long for it to complete. Whole story overall, what did you think?
Wasn't bad. It was more of the, like you said before we got on air, it was more of the art. But honestly, the story wasn't bad. It was just, I think it's just because of the first, how the first issue shot up in price to $60-something to $100 because of Batman's weighing in the damn book. They pulled a lot of stuff out of it. I think they pulled a lot of stuff out of 2 and 3. I think they went back to the drawing board and pulled stuff out because you can tell, like, there's a panel in the second one where Harley actually gets on top of Batman. You can tell, like, there's panels missing out of that. Like, there's certain bits and pieces missing. So.
Yeah, I believe it was White Whale Comics that mentioned it looked as though someone had taken the art and added more art on top to cover stuff up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like on 3 too, kind of.
I can't think of a specific panel myself. I just knew I was looking mainly the art and trying to read the story, and I found the story good but lacking, and the art, was on point.
Yeah, the art was great, but like everybody was saying, oh, Batman's penis in the first one. Dude, if you were really looking for it, that's the only way you could have found it. But if you weren't paying attention, if you were just reading it, you didn't even notice. I didn't even notice until the second time I went through it. Until somebody said something, I'm like,
I didn't notice either. I had to go back and really look, which in it, when you think about it, that's not something you ever want to admit to trying to find in a cover.
Right, but no, but the whole thing is probably a mom or somebody picked it up that wasn't supposed to pick it up, had read the book. That's what I think happened is somebody was in outrage. Somebody's mom picked it up for him and actually looked through it before giving it to him.
Yeah. But one thing I have noticed is that the same thing applies to video games.
Right.
A lot of them, like this one don't. This is Superman Year One. This one don't because there's nothing in it.
Right.
But on the back of the Batman Damned one, it said about right in here somewhere, mature readers.
Yeah.
All you
But
have
that's
to do is read.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be mature readers. It's supposed to be set. What was it? They redid it because they canceled Vertigo. They canceled a bunch of stuff, and then now they're all the Vertigo stuff is gonna go. Well, they're changing something, and then because that's becoming Black Label instead, and then now there's a horror. There's gonna be a horror half of There's gonna be a horror half run by Joe Hill, run by Stephen King's son. That's gonna be writing a bunch of horror stuff for DC.
Huh. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I read up on it like last night. I saw the thing saying Joe Hill signing something with DC, opening his own little branch of DC. Like, you know, it says Black Label. I think it says something like DC something horror something or another or something like that. I didn't read the thing completely. I just skimmed it. But
well, we might have to. Everybody might have to go back and check that out. But,
yeah, because it's like he's writing something Dollhouse for them or something like that. It's like a horror type. Like,
oh yeah,
he's known for it. Yeah, he's known for his horror
previews, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's known for horror. He's known for horror, anyways. His dad's known for horror. He's known for horror. Like, I've been like his Lock and Key is one of my favorite horror books by Joe Hill, anyways. So, yeah, so Lock and Key is pretty good for me.
Unruly Simeon literally just did in the chat. Lock and Key was solid, and he has written some good short stories.
Yeah.
But going back to the Black Label itself, what do you think it's a good idea? I mean, I enjoy these larger format.
Yeah, it was,
and I like not having the ads in them and stuff.
Black Label was good, but like the Superman one, I think it was supposed to be a lot more for adult readers, anyways. But they changed it where it's more for teen readers instead of 18 and up or 17 and up. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that, but I do know that Black Label should have few, if any, restrictions for the artists and writers because it's specifically a special label for them. And I think they let us down on that. And who knows what'll happen to Black Label. And John Comics with Kids popped in. King John Free.
Right now, Black Label is gonna be the new Vertigo label, pretty much, because they canceled Vertigo and then put everything under anything that's 17 and above is going under Black Label. Anything that's written 17 and above, because I read up on some DC stuff, so like why they cancel stuff, and the main reason they canceled Vertigo was because they're gonna transfer over everything that's either Vertigo or cancel everything that's completely Vertigo, and then just transfer over the Black Label, like everything that's supposed to be there. Like I think the Sandman thing's going to Black Label now, and a couple other things.
Well, so when they originally announced it, I liked the idea of Black Label. So I guess they haven't really had much time to flesh out Black Label because how long it took them after the Batwang situation to start putting that stuff. So we'll still have to wait and see because Black Label hadn't proven itself yet. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Superman, like the Superman book's not bad. I mean, what I expected out of Miller, I didn't see it in the book. You know what I mean? Like I expected Batman and Robin type stuff in that book.
Well, I think that's because he had John Romita Jr. with him. I think it's the combination of the two that gave us this. It would be different if one or the other did it, but the combo, I think, did it. And I actually enjoyed the story.
I enjoyed the story too, but I expected Batman and Robin type stuff. You know, like the Black Canary panel and like where he could like slaps.
Yeah. But I had never seen a comic
Robin and stuff like that. I expected stuff like that. I'm like,
but I've never seen a Superman comic where they had him being in the military, and at the end of this, he's in the Navy.
Right.
I'm actually excited. Well, not jumping up and down excited, but I am wanting to get the next book to see what happens.
I am too. I'm excited to see how they're gonna play with the military part of it, where where he actually like if something somebody actually bombs him and he doesn't die from the bomb and everybody else around him, or somehow he saves them with the and gets a Purple Heart or something, and figure out how he's gonna convince people he's not he's human still when like some type of bomb drops or some type of IED blows up in front of him.
Hey, Unruly says that Soup should have been a Marine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. You never know because they still got a lot of issues to go. So you never know. He might be in branches. You never know. He might.
And Comics for All People has a good point. He says if they make Black Label too strong, they'll put them in poly bags. That's one thing they could have done instead of tightening restrictions. They could have done it like I forget what number of Savage Dragon it is, where he has that wild cover, and they put it in a poly bag.
243, I think, something like that. Like two. I know it's one of the 200 books. I know that much. Yeah. It was a double. It was or it's like the fetish book that's coming out by what was it, by IDW or something like that. That's that fetish witch book that Perry and all them talk about.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I don't buy those books. So
but there's a bunch of books.
John says it's 225.
I was close.
And speaking of that, we have someone else joining us here. We have Caleb the Comic Smurf Murphy. What's going on, man? And Ed D, Comics and Games. What's up, Ed?
Always good to see them.
Oh yeah. So you're the guest on the show, Jeffrey. In here, why don't you come up with something? Is there anything you planning to do that you want to announce, or is there what's going on in your world?
I'm actually working on a video on Vampirella. I'm a big Vampirella fan, so I'm pretty much doing my research. It's going to be a pain because
I would never have guessed by all the artwork behind you.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty much doing my research on Vampirella. Like I'm doing my research on, smaller characters that are lesser known, like Vampirella. Let's see. Like Lady Death. I know a lot of people don't know the whole history behind them, and like Dawn and all these other characters. I'm gonna try to do more research and try to get a hold of like Brian to see if I can get Brian Polito on my show to see if we can talk about Lady Death or.
That'd be cool. He's a nice guy. I've met him.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. Yeah. And then what was it? The Vampirella. Like a lot of people don't know. Vampirella's from the 70s and stuff like that, or from the 60s exactly, but 1969, so almost in the 70s type time. So
Unruly mentioned it. I was about to as well. She is 50 officially, 50 years old.
Yep. She's a good-looking 50-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, I'm doing my research, and I know her date of release is like July 17th. So she'd be actually 50 on July 17th because that was her actual release date of issue number 1 was July 17th. So I'm going to try to release a video either before that or a little after that, like her history video.
Well, that sounds like it'd be a pretty cool video. And Highlight here is wanting to know, what are you hunting for at SuperCon? I'd like to know that too. Give us 4 books that Jeff Comic 813 is hunting that he really wants.
Well, Highly already knows this one. I'm looking for at least any grade Vampirella number 1, because I had one in my hand that was
the original Frazetta one.
Yeah, the original Frazetta one. I'm looking for that, and then I'm looking for another Vampirella cover that's done by Alex Ross, but it's 1 in 50 or 1 in 100, and it's the first time she's ever been in Dynamite Entertainment Comics. So it's that's her first issue. That's her first volume from them, because
did she move from, I believe it was Harvey to Dynamite, or was there something in between?
Well, let's say she moved from Warren to
Warren. Okay, I had it wrong.
Yeah, she moved from Warren to what the heck is that? It starts with an H. The other company starts with a H or something like that.
Was that Harvey?
Yeah. Then she moved to Harvey. Then Harvey lost the rights to her because actually, what was it? Warren was actually suing them about using Vampirella stuff because towards the end of her run, it was more team up books. Like if you look towards the end of her first her first ever like volume 1 of her, it's like a lot of team ups at towards the end because Warren was losing pretty much money and stuff like that. They were trying to get rid of stuff, and then they got rid of it, and then Harvey had picked them up. Then Harvey was getting a lawsuit with them, and it was not until 2000 and I think 3 or 13 or something like that that Dynamite had bought the whole rights to her. So Dynamite didn't come out until that volume that I'm looking for that was her first volume from Dynamite. That has Alex Ross.
Is the Dynamite book you said you're looking for? Hialeah wants to know if that's the one where she's licking her finger.
She's actually in like a little hot, almost like a hot tub, like of blood, and she's coming up.
Oh, okay.
From it, and it's Alex Ross, or it's similar to the Frazetta cover, but she's turned around. There's another one that I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah, there's where he does an homage to Frazetta's cover, but she's actually completely turned around. Her butt's facing us instead of her front facing you. It's her back facing you.
Okay. Well, that's 3. What's a fourth book you're looking for?
Like I said, the first appearance of MJ, one of my favorite redheads in comics.
Now, when you say the first appearance of MJ, there's like 3 books that are her first appearance. Are you talking the first time she's mentioned, the first time she's drawn behind a potted plant where you don't see her face, or the drawing face tiger? You've hit the jackpot book.
All 3. I mean, whichever one I can find, pretty much all 3. It's whichever one I can find for a decent price.
All right. So, Hialeah had mentioned you're going to SuperCon.
Yeah.
When is that, and how big a convention is that? That's a Florida convention, right?
Yeah, SuperCon. I mean, SuperCon is as big as MegaCon was, but I think a little bigger since it's in Miami. It might be a little bigger. I'm not sure. I've never been to that con exactly. I've been to MegaCon twice already. This is going to be the first time I've ever gone to SuperCon. So this year I'm actually going to 3 cons this year. So I'm going to, right after going to SuperCon, I'm going to be going to TampaCon. That's in Tampa. That's where I'm at. So that's TampaCon, and that's in August. And this one's in July 4th weekend. So I'm going with Steve Whiting. That's who I'm going with.
Okay.
On Sunday of next week.
All right. Looks like we got Mr. Gretzky's joining us.
Next
he says
weekend
the
on Sunday.
Dynamite book that he gets is Vampirella, Red Sonja meet Betty and Veronica.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've seen that one advertised. That's pretty funny one.
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. I actually read that. It's pretty good, actually. I read Betty and Veronica meets Vampirella and Red Sonja. That's actually not bad. I mean, it's actually a decent book. So.
Yeah. Hialeah saying if you get lucky, you'll be there on Silver Age Sunday hoping for deals.
Yeah.
I have never heard of a con having a Silver Age Sunday.
I've never heard of that either. So that's going to be pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally can't do more than about 2 cons a year. That's sort of my limit at the moment. I just do one at the beginning of the year and one towards the end, and
right.
That's it.
The only reason I'm doing SuperCon is Steve goes, "Oh, I don't got nobody to ride with." That's the main reason I'm doing it with Steve. Steve goes, "I don't got nobody to ride down there with me." I'm like, "I'm down." What day are you think I would go? And he goes, "Oh, Sunday." I'm like, "I'm down." I'm off on Sundays anyway.
Sometimes all you need is a friend.
Yeah.
All right. So we can expect, I assume, this Wednesday, a Cantonese Comic Wednesday video?
Yes, sir. Like always. Cantonese Comic Wednesday. It's always on Wednesday, so it's never.
Do you got anything else coming out this week that you're doing?
Trying to, if work doesn't if work doesn't interfere with it. A lot of times, if I don't got more than Cantonese comics coming out, it's because of work. Like I said, I'm working on that Vampirella stuff. I'm doing my research on it. I'm doing a script for that video too, so making sure I don't mess it up. And then that video is going to be a pretty big video, and I don't know if
like big production wise or big as in a long one.
it's going to actually come out on big both production, and it's going to be probably a 3-parter. Like first part's probably going to be all about when she was at Warren. Second part's probably going to be all about when she was at Harvey, and then third part's probably going to be all about when she's at Dynamite. So there's going to be 3 different parts.
Well, that sounds like a pretty interesting one, man.
Yeah, so it's going to be big production.
Yeah, I haven't learned how to do much production. That's why most of my stuff is just live.
Yeah,
I haven't really sat down to learn anything yet. But I was going to do an auction, and the way I wanted to do it was I wanted to film it so that I could like show people the front,
right,
the back, and inside. But I'm having trouble. I have come to the realization that my current setup with the way I have it, I can't do that and it'd be a short video. It would be like an hour and a half long doing that. And if you at that point, you might as well just do it like a straight normal auction where there's no preview.
Right.
So I think I've come up with something else that I'm going to do. I don't know exactly when. It'll probably be hopefully this weekend. But let me bounce this off of you. Tell me if this is a good idea. I have finally narrowed a focus list down to specific books that I want to get, which means I have a lot of books that I don't need. So what I'm thinking about doing is having a short box or something filled with books.
Right.
And then, just filled with books.
Right.
And what I'm going to do is say, okay, everybody, here's how we're going to do this. We have 1 book at $5, 3 books at $10, or 5 books at $20 plus shipping. And you tell me if you want it from the front, middle, or back. And I just randomly pick out however many books someone says. Like if they say, 5 books for $20, I do out 5, and they might get a Sandman 1 or a Howard the Duck 12 or
that's not bad.
Something like that. You think that'd be a good idea?
Yeah, actually, that'd be a good idea. I mean,
I'm telling you, man, I got so many books that I don't need, and if I tried to sell them all single, that'd be horrible, man. So I'm thinking about doing that. I'll technically be losing money, but I'm okay with it because it gets them gone, Yeah,
but you're not really. If you think about it, you're not really losing the money because you're gaining the money to get your.
And I didn't buy most of them to sell. I just happened to buy them,
Right.
So I'm thinking of doing that. What do you think, and what does the chat think about that? And I just noticed we have the Bat Avenger here too as well. Hey man, how you doing? So anyway, what do you think? That a good idea?
Actually, that is a great idea because I'm doing the same thing you are. I'm trying to focus down my list. I'm trying to maybe just focus on a bunch of Vampirella stuff now. I'm not sure if I still want to do that or not, but I'm still thinking about it. But I really want to focus down the list. But I'm reading a bunch of stuff too. But I'm like, I can read some of this stuff in trade too. I'm like, maybe I should just.
I've decided to do most of my reading stuff in trade form, and of course, I'll be buying like this, the Prestige. I'll just buy this, and you can tell what how bent up this is. I don't collect these; I read them, and I like it. Not necessarily this book specifically, but I like leaving books wherever I'm at. Give it to a kid or something. Kind of the joy of comics.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, I like reading. I like reading them too. It's just running out of space. That's the problem. Is running when you got a limited amount of space and you're getting 20 to 30 short boxes. that you
Well,
don't know where
I
to
only
go.
have like 2.5, but to me that's a
Right,
lot. I
right,
keep a small collection.
right.
I used to
I
have a big one, but then things happened and I lost it. And
right,
man, it's too much money, time, and effort to get all that back. And
right.
I just buy specific stuff that I like.
Right now, yeah, like I said, now I might start doing that now, either sometime this year, or starting sometime next, like in December. I'm gonna start cutting down stuff, and I'm like you guys starting auctions. I may start auction off because when I first started collecting, man, it was bad. It was bad. Like I collected everything and anything, pretty
Dude,
much. I got a
I,
whole box filled of 3D covers. I got a whole box filled of Batman Eternals that I don't know what to do. I like 2 to 3 short boxes filled with Batman Eternals, Robin Eternals stuff. I'm like, why the hell did I collect this? And why? Or and then a bunch of other stuff. So I might get rid of a bunch of stuff.
let's see. Comics for All People has an interesting question. I'm going to make sure I read it right. I think it's to both of us.
Okay.
Hey, got a question. If you
Okay.
have an auction, can I send money to you? Don't have PayPal when you receive money, then send books. Okay, so he's asking. Correct me, Comics for All People. If make sure I got this right. What you're asking is, you're wanting to participate in an auction, or what I'm talking about isn't necessarily an auction, but a sale,
Right.
and you want to bundle up your stuff and set it to the side. Then when you send your money, we send the books. Now, is that what you're asking? If so, I don't see a problem with that,
Yeah.
but
I
you're
don't.
taking a big risk in trusting us.
Right. Right.
If you're willing to do that,
Yeah.
okay, but it's really easy to start a PayPal. All you need is an email and a bank account.
And then all you got to do is pretty much say, what was it? Friend. Don't go with business part. The business part. You go with friends and family part, and then it just charges you less than what it's going to charge you if you go with business.
Well, if you go friends and family, it doesn't charge you anything.
Right. If you go with the business, it charges you a lot more than
Yeah.
what you think.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't use PayPal, he can always use Google Wallet or anything like that. It's other services there that he can use that, he doesn't have to use PayPal. There's Google Wallet. There's a bunch of other, certain like PayPal pretty much.
But as far as PayPal goes, Caleb just mentioned it here. My PayPal is my bank account now. I have a debit card and everything. Yeah, I don't know where you live, Comics for All People, but as far as where I live, I can go down to just about any bank with $100 or $50.
Yeah.
Put that in a savings account and get a checking account for free. And all
Yeah.
you have to do is link that number up with
Yeah.
PayPal, and then boom, you got PayPal.
Yeah. That's the same thing. The same thing like I'm doing now. I may open another account just for the auctions and stuff, and then create another
Yeah.
PayPal.
My roommate did that. He has 2 accounts
Right.
at the same bank, and one
Right.
of them is specifically for PayPal. He puts a little bit of money in there,
Right. Right.
does PayPal, and then he'll put some more money in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a great way to keep your stuff separate if it gets confusing. I also have a business account that
Right.
handles my PayPal, and then I have my normal account.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing anyways, to open up another account and then open up another PayPal because like I said, either at the end of the year or towards the middle, I may start auctioning off stuff because I'm thinking about like dwindling down the list to like the books that I want, the Grail books that I want, because Vampirella #1 isn't cheap. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what grade's in because I think a 6.0, somebody was selling it for like 450, but the person didn't want to sell it for 450, and then took it back because it was a
Comic for All People says he's in North Carolina. I believe that means, tell me if I'm right, Comics for All People, do you have a family security credit union in North Carolina?
probably does.
If you do, that's a regional one here in the South. If you do, you can do what we're talking about, I believe, with only $50 or maybe even a little less. And you could get your stuff PayPal and you'd be covered and everything.
I think some banks, even $20 could get you one. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
Mine is 10.
Yeah. See, so
Yeah. Well, looks like we're about out of stuff to talk about. I mean, we could, just shoot the breeze the whole day, but I haven't eaten yet, and I want to make sure I take care of that. And let's see, it's 2:18 for me, so that means it's 3:18 for you.
yeah.
Yeah, because you said you're in Florida, right?
Yep. So
Yeah.
East Coast time.
So-
You're Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, I'm Alabama, so we're not too far away. Hey,
Yeah.
let me ask you this: you think all them people up in New York and California and all that, do you think they're pansies for complaining about heat?
Yeah.
Arizona, all that dry heat.
Yeah. Man, our heat down here, man, it might say 90 something, 98, but you go walk outside with the humidity and everything, man, it's like it's like a wet hot. It's not even like
On the
dry.
days our temperature actually goes over 100, you walk outside, you think it's 150.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're like, what?
Comics for All People says, yes, he does have a family security. Well, I know for a fact because I have had a bunch of friends do business with him. You go in with $50, you ought to get set up and have a PayPal. But if for some reason it doesn't work, I would be okay with that if you're okay taking the risk, because it would be no risk for me.
Right.
But anyway, I guess we'll get out of here, man. You had anything you want to say before we get off?
Not really.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here in the chat and watching on replay, if anybody does that. Let's see. Hialeah says, be good, guys. See you Sunday, Jeff. Safe drive down. Right. Keep Steve alert.
I will. I always do. I always do.
And Robert's saying goodbye to us as well. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Well, all right then, folks. I guess we will see you later.
So, yeah. See you guys later.